If you made it this far and understood everything that you've learned in lesson 1 through 4 and really understand how paired eighth notes sound, then I commend you for getting this far, because now things are going to get a little bit more confusing. Lesson 5 is going to teach you about 4 16th notes. Yeah, the names change because there's different symbols. But before we start learning about 16th notes, let's do some review on the musical terms that we learned for certain symbols. Again, this right here is your note head. This is a stem. This is a bar line. And your bar line divides your rhythm patterns into measures. So this is a measure, and this is a measure. So please keep those in mind, because you're going to need those for future projects. Now, new rhythmic note. This note by itself, this right here is called a 16th note. Now, before I tell you more about how many beats it gets, let's take a look at these parts of the note. Again, this is your note head. This is your stem. And these things right here. And I didn't go over this in paired eighth notes, because a paired eighth note had one of these. And I should have told you what it was in that lesson. So I'll just tell you what it is now. These things right here that are on the stem, these are called flags. Say flag. A 16th note has two flags, which symbolizes that these notes sound faster than eighth notes. Eighth notes only had one flag. So they were kind of fast, but the more flags you have, the faster the note sounds. I'm telling you, they can get really fast. And I'll play some music to give you examples of what I mean by rhythms being played very fast, even though the tempo can be slow. Notes can be played extremely fast. I'll explain that soon. But we're going to learn how to clap 4 16th notes. But before we learn how to clap them, question: how many 16th notes will equal 1 beat? The answer is 4. Now, in order for you to understand the answer, you'll have to know how to add fractions. If you're not good at adding fractions, you'll never get this. And that's why you need to talk with your math teacher so that you can get some reinforcement on how to add fractions. Because I'm telling you, when you start using your other subjects in the music, it can get confusing, because 1, you got to learn what music is. 2, you got to combine music, my class, with another subject. Math, for example. So you got 2 in 1. It can get confusing. So please make sure that if you are not familiar or not understanding how to add fractions, please ask your teacher, your math teacher, to give you reinforcement, to give you extra lessons, extra help, extra worksheets, extra whatever you need to understand how to add fractions. For those who have kind of learned how to add fractions so far, you've so far learned that if your fraction has the same denominator, which is the bottom number, you don't add that number. You don't add 4 plus 4. Because a fraction is a part of a number. You add the numerators up. Yeah, you add those up like whole numbers. But the bottom number, you do not add. So your 4 stays the same. So 1 16th note, as I mentioned before, gets 1/4 of the beat. When you add 2 16th notes together, 1/4 plus 1/4, that actually equals 1/2. Now, how is it 1/2 when the denominator is 4? Before you get to 1/2, when you add it correctly, your 4 stays the same on the bottom, but your top number, you add them up, 1 plus 1 equals 2. So the answer is actually 2/4, or 2/4. You can take 2/4 and reduce it, and that's why I'm telling you it's very important for you to talk with your math teacher and make sure you get reinforced with this information, or learn this information from your math teacher because it can get confusing. 2/4 can be reduced to 1/2. So 1/4 plus 1/4 equals 1/2. So 2 of these equals 1/2 of a beat. So these two are 1/2. That means these two, when you add them up, is 1/2 as well. These two, 1/2, plus these two, 1/2. 1/2 plus 1/2 gives you 1 whole beat. So you need 4/16 notes to equal 1 beat. Now that can get a little confusing because when it's time to learn how to clap these, you have to understand that you have to clap these faster than you did for 1/8 notes when you're trying to clap them all within the click and the space in between the click. So when you hit a click and that space in between, that's how much time you have to clap the 16th notes before you get to the next click. So you got, and then, oops, space. Before you get to that next downbeat or that next click, you got to clap your 4/16 notes. That's why I give you 80 as a beats per minute or BPM to clap your tempos to, because this is not too fast and not too slow. Excuse me. So to clap 16 notes, to clap it within 1 beat, because they equal 1 beat when you clap them all together. It's going to sound like this. I'm going to use Tigga Tigga to help me clap the beats correctly. So it's going to sound like this when I clap it. I'm going to count myself in, and I'll clap them. 1, 2, ready, go. Tigga Tigga. Let me do that again, because they're faster, again, than 1/8 notes. So again, it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, ready, go. Tigga Tigga. So you heard that? And you got to clap each 16th notes. You can't go Tigga Tigga. That's wrong. You got to clap every syllable like this. Tigga Tigga. Let me do that again. Tigga Tigga. And let me do that again. Tigga Tigga. So 4 claps. And they got to be fast. So I use Tigga Tigga. You can use your own 4-syllable word to help you remember, to help you clap the 16th notes correctly to the tempo of the metronome. You can use quarter pounder, chimichanga, Mississippi, cucaracha, or one-yanda. That one's really interesting, one-yanda. But let me just use these as an example and clap the 16th notes using different syllables. 1, 2, ready, go. Quarter pounder. Heard that? Let me do another one. 1, 2, ready, go. Cucaracha. So again, you got to clap every syllable. And make sure you clap them before the next click. Let me do it one more time. 1, 2, ready, go. Mississippi. So notice I clap them all before the next click. So that's what you're going to practice. Go ahead and practice clapping 16th notes. Turn on your metronome. Put it at 80. And practice clapping some 16th notes. Unpause the video when you're ready to move on. Now that you've practiced clapping 16th notes, now we're going to clap 16th notes in rhythm patterns now. And so you will see, and you will have a number of rhythm patterns to clap. I'm going to use this one as an example for you to hear how they're clapped with other notes in your rhythm pattern. So let's analyze. Let's see what we got to clap before we clap. I got a quarter note, 4/16 notes, 4/16 notes, quarter note. I already know how to clap a quarter note from lesson 1. Got that in my head. I can use tie or fish, whatever. 1-syllable word. I'm going to pick my 4-syllable word for my 16th notes. I'm going to use quarter pounder. Because I like talking about food, because I like eating food. So I'm going to use food names to clap the rhythm pattern that you see here. So for a quarter note, I'm going to use the word fish. Now you don't have to say any words at all. I mean, I don't have to say the words, but I use the words to help me remember how they're going to sound. So here's your metronome clicking. Here's your rhythm pattern. I'm going to count myself in and clap the rhythm for you so you hear how it sounds to the speed of the metronome. 1, 2, ready, go. Fish, quarter pounder, fish. Did you hear that? That was absolutely perfect. I stayed on the tempo of the metronome. I made sure I used my words to help me know what kind of rhythms I was clapping. And I just got through them, and I didn't speed up the tempo myself. Let me do that again. 1, 2, ready, go. I didn't use any words that time. I said the words in my head so that you can hear the clap better. Let me do it again without the words. 1, 2, ready, go. Did you hear that? That's what you're going to do. You're going to go through all the rhythm patterns. Make sure that you clap them right. Make sure that you clap to the speed of the metronome. Do your very best. Go through them 2 times, 3 times, 15 times. I don't care how many times you go through them. Just make sure you clap every single rhythm pattern. Because it's a lot. 5, 6, 7. How many more I did on here? 8. You got 8 of them. Go through your classwork as you've done in lessons 1 through 4. And then go through the lesson checklist to make sure you completed all of that. Practice on your rhythm math worksheet, and you are good to go. And you are good to go. At the end of each lesson, I'm going to give you a test. That's after your quiz. After you practice your quiz and after you practice remembering the symbols of the notes and learn what a measure is and remember everything that you have learned through all the lessons, I will give you a Jedi test at the end of each lesson. Now, for this particular lesson here, if you pass the test of lesson 5, along with all the tests of lesson 4, 3, 2, and 1, and you get a 4 on every single test, you will be appointed as a Jedi apprentice. What that means is you're kind of a master. You're a student master of learning rhythmic notation, which means as my apprentice, you can be my helper. So let's say there's a student in class that is struggling on lesson 1. You can be appointed to help people or a person, because you can work one-on-one with a person or you can work with a group, doesn't matter, or you can walk around the classroom like I do. You will be my apprentice. You will make sure that everyone is getting through their lessons the best way that they can and understanding what I've taught you. And you can give assignments, worksheets. You can give examples yourself first. You can be a human metronome and help people. You will be my apprentice. You will be able to help people. So having that privilege to be my apprentice, to be a student teacher, is a wonderful privilege. So get through all of these. Get through all of the quizzes. Get through every one of the tests. Do your very best. Get all 4s on all of my tests. You will be accounted as my Jedi apprentice. You will get a certificate with your name on it, stating who you are and what you have accomplished to get to that title as Jedi apprentice. Now you see me, I am a Jedi master, Obi Black Kenobi. So if you want to be a Jedi master, of course you got to become a music teacher. Get to college, you know what I'm saying, get your degree, get a job, get your own classroom. Then you can appoint yourself Jedi Master, because that's your classroom. You're the master of your classroom. But people under me, you will be a Jedi Apprentice. So keep practicing. Get through all of the slides. Excuse me. get your classwork, practice on your rhythm math worksheets, keep practicing, and then when you think you are ready to take my tests, let me know, and I will give you the test. So, best of luck to you, and congratulations to getting this far.